So life in lockdown, week 5 now,
Yes.
rattling along. So today we've just got some tips for the adrenal glands and helping, I suppose, manage a bit of potential anxiety and stress that people may be feeling from time to time in our current situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this, we've all been expected to, and we all talk about, a new normal, and we've adjusted and everything else. But actually, the end of another month has brought around additional stress with people's job insecurities, financial worries, wondering whether or not people are going to get paid, whether or not people can afford things, and all of those things, we can't control so much of it. And so whether or not we're feeling or dealing with things, that's one thing, but what your body's doing doesn't know whether or not you're going to get run over by a bus, whether you're really excited or whether or not you're feeling anxious. It just senses a feeling, and we produce adrenaline and cortisol. And the adrenal glands are there for that reason. Those two hormones are our stressor hormones, but they're also our fight and flight hormones. So they're needed, and they will be produced at various points in our day. Ordinarily, that sometimes they'll be produced if you're nervous for a meeting, sometimes they'll be produced at the start of a race, sometimes they'll be produced if you think, oh my god, I've got to break hard. So they're there for a reason, and they're produced first thing in the morning to wake us up with light. So they're there as good things. But if we're producing too much adrenaline too much of the time, too much of the day, and our adrenaline is never gets a chance to come down, then our adrenal glands get really fatigued, and then we feel exhausted, and it's draining and it's hard. Now there could be lots of other things that make us feel exhausted and draining and drained and all of that kind of thing, but the one thing that we can do, our hands and our feet are kind of a mirror image of what our body parts and our internal organs. And if you are into reflexology or acupressure or any of that kind of self-help, then there are things that you can do that will just help for a moment calm the body down. Now, we've done box breathing, we talked about breathing, taking that inhalation is massive, but on our hands, our adrenal glands are kind of in that, just underneath that paddy part of your thumb. So you kind of got that bony part, and then just underneath it is a bit squishy, and over on the other side you kind of find, if you didn't have the thumb there, that finger and thumb would touch. And where it's squishy, if you just press hard and hold, now mine's tender, so I know that is a sign of adrenal kind of, wear and tear, and then just release. And you can squeeze and release and squeeze and release as many times as you want, but I'd aim for maybe 5 or 6. Just hold for a few seconds. You can do both hands, but it's just in there, and that adrenaline that's producing the adrenal glands, your adrenal glands are here, or match here on your hand, from an acupressure point of view, and that may just give you a little bit of calm when you're feeling a little bit not calm and distressed. I don't know how that feels, but yeah, everybody's different, because obviously, there are tendons and ligaments in the hands too, and if I do work out, so I know that I've got muscles here that I'm using as grip, but I also know where it's not. So it's just a pleasant way of just helping your body from the inside out, because I think we're all quite guilty of looking like we're in control, coping, and underneath the water you're just paddling and flapping like mad. And I think we've talked about this before, is that everything is new right now. We've got no reference point for it. At the ages we all are as adults, we've normally got a life experience, or somebody's been through this before, and you can kind of draw upon, right, what would I do? Or you'll go back and research it. Let's Google it and see what happens. There is no Google for how to handle this. So our bodies are finding new coping mechanisms and new strategies. And for some people, it's working, and for some people it's not. And whilst we're all in the same boat, whilst we're all weathering the same storm, we are all in our own boats. And so some people's lives haven't been affected as much as others. Some people's personalities mean that the way they're handling it, this is different. Some people are really wallowing. Some people are finding the positives. But this ebb and flow of emotion, we are all feeling. And it's okay to feel it, to have the good days, the bad days, the good hours, the bad hours. But it's just recognizing in yourself what's triggered it. And if you can find the breathing, the adrenal pressure point, every little helps.
Somebody's used that expression before. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, mine definitely felt a little bit tender.
And maybe it's like a hardening, and when you press them, you then it softens slightly. I know that, in fact, I don't know whether she watches these. My friend's a homeopath, and it's actually one of the points that I don't know whether she's looking at the adrenal glands. I've never asked her, but it's actually one of the points that she references, she touches when she's looking at which homeopathic remedies suit you. And she's looking, when she's holding here and you hold a remedy close to you, she's looking for a change. Now, she's obviously qualified and an expert to know what's changing. And when here changes, in her opinion, that's a remedy that you need in your world. So potentially it is. So Jeanette, if you're listening, let me know.
That's JB
Homeopathy, yes. Amazing woman.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much. Another tip for week 5 of For Life in Lockdown.